Of course, following on from last week, big appreciation for Sam Rockwell.
He's back.
He's
2 Fs
back.
in a row.
But this time, he dances. Hit it.
It's fifth period. The party's fifth period. Get headphones and hear it. Let me hit that barbico. That barbico. Let me hit that barbico.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fifth Period, the film podcast hosted by two media teachers, where today we are finally venturing into the MCU. And what better way to do that than to skip the original and one of the best entries in the franchise and instead talk about its much lesser sequel. My name is Mr. Brown, and with me as always is...
Mr. Boydlan.
Mr. Boydlan.
Mr. Boydlan.
Boyd.
Well, we'll come back to the Boyd.
I'm sorry, your bird? You want your bird?
No, the Boyd.
The Boyd. You could tell there was a little bit of animosity in my introduction today.
Mr. Brown, hell of an enthusiastic way to start off the fifth period. We're in the MCU now. We
Yeah.
should be excited.
It's true, it is true. And this is nothing against Ignatius.
We're a bit limited with the PG offering.
Absolutely, and I think he did originally put the first Iron Man forward, which would have been our preferred option.
100%.
But wasn't available, so he went with Iron Man. And it wasn't that bad, to be honest. Obviously I'd seen this many times, and I had a memory of it being quite a significant step down from the first film. I still had a good time watching it last night. I just think it's an overstuffed film.
There's parts of this film I really like. Obviously, we get some, fun characters, and this film does borrow from some very infamous Iron Man storylines in the comic books. It doesn't quite execute all of them fantastically, but at any stage to get into the MCU is a good time. It's just a tonal shift.
If not for the PG-M rating, I'm sure we would have started from the tippy top. So if you are listening, I definitely encourage you to go watch Iron Man 1, then watch Iron Man 2,
and watch Iron Man 3.
Then come back and have a listen to this.
Yeah.
In addition to our main discussion of Iron Man 2 today, we will also be doing a Tantalising Trailers and a very special MCU-themed movie mashups.
Mashups are back.
They are. They're back, and they're back in a big way. So if you want to skip ahead to any of that, I will leave time codes in the description below.
Hi, my name's Jed, and today we're going to be talking about Iron Man 2.
Big thank you to Jed for his intro today. He actually seemed very excited to hear we had a pod last week in Film Club.
That was like a revelation for him.
Wow, that's a little confidence boost for us when someone gets so excited to be like, you mean we can hear you talk even more?
More than at class?
Yeah, so that's lovely. But it was also like, I've only met Jed very recently, but he's just super friendly. But you've had the pleasure of actually teaching Jed.
Yeah, so I had Jed in one of my Year 8 media classes last semester. Definitely one of the more enthusiastic media students that I've had the pleasure of teaching. Always get stuck in, always very quick to, contribute to class discussions and offer his thoughts, which is fantastic. And I had a good creative mindset when it came to doing his filming task and everything like that. So, was an impactful member in the media classroom. So it was really good when I started to do a bit more of a plug of Film Club, saying like, okay guys, this is my last class teaching you, but however, if you're not sick of my face, you can see it at Film Club on a Friday at lunchtime. And Jed was pretty quick to tap a couple of his mates on the shoulder and try to get along to Film Club. We should say, Mr. Brown, one of many students who was at Film Club, straight at the front of the room, happy to have a chat with us. We really appreciate him doing the intro.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, he wasn't alone. We had a big turnout this week. And
Huge.
It's probably a few contributing factors. The fact that it's a new term, we're poaching people in our new media classes as well. But I think just kind of a hitting reset. There were a lot of events and things that impacted people being able to come at the end of last term. So to have a big turnout was a fantastic way to kick things off. So
couldn't believe it. Like every time we looked, they just kept coming in the room.
They really did, yeah.
Like we're running out of chairs.
Yeah, and only about half of them left when they found out it was Iron Man 2.
I mean, that's pretty good. I'll take those numbers.
No, I'm joking. It was a great turnout, so thank you to everyone that came along, and a big thank you to Jed for the intro today. Alrighty, let us jump into Iron Man 2. This time it's personal.
I mean, it is a little bit more personal because we're starting to get some, fleshing out of Tony Stark's background.
Iron Man 2, daddy issues.
That's pretty much it.
That's it. As you said earlier, Jon Favreau is the director, but did you know Justin Theroux did the screenplay?
I do now.
But isn't that wild? I didn't know he was doing much writing at all.
I wasn't aware. Justin Theroux.
Old Jen Ann's Expo.
The Stark Expo.
Nice. Very nice. Put that in movie mashups.
That's good.
The Stark Expo. That's really good. Everyone's trying to piece together what the hell we're talking about.
We'll get there. Don't worry.
That's
fine.
fantastic. The storyline kind of kicks off in a nice place because we get a little bit of a recap of, oh, that's right, he's just announced to the world he is Iron Man. And this is the trendsetter for the superhero films because prior to this, how many people didn't have an alter ego and hidden masks and like, we're so used to things like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films where when his mask comes off, it's like the biggest deal in the world. Whereas in this one, it's like, Tony Stark says that he's Iron Man, so every superhero that follows on doesn't really care about hiding their identity.
Yeah, which is, I don't know, that's a little bit of a gear grinder for me, actually, sometimes in the Marvel films, because, well, actors want, like, I don't want to be shrouded by a mask or helmet or whatever the entire time.
I haven't really thought about it too much in regards to like secret identities and alter egos because of the way that a lot of the characters have been established.
Yep.
Like someone like Captain America, so famous and so well known, and it's like, well, what's the point of him hiding his identity now? And like,
that Steve Rogers one, yeah, totally.
yeah, but like as I go through, I'm like, actually for a lot of them, they're separated from families. They're not actually in a position where it's like they need to protect the people that they love. And the exception to that is someone like Spider-Man, where his identity has been a massive plot point for the movies. I guess those plot lines can start to become a little repetitive, so I don't mind that the MCU goes in a different direction, but I know you have your gripes with it, so I thought it was worth bringing up.
Yeah, just to see me squirm.
Yeah, I love it.
It's fine.
I love it.
They're good masks, and maybe sometimes it's to, I don't know, balance out the fact that they don't know how to do a proper superhero suit to save themselves, but that's okay. That's fine.
Could be.
Could
you
be.
need a breather?
I'm good.
Yeah. So we meet Mickey Rourke's character.
We do.
Ivan Vanko.
Famous Russian Mickey Rourke.
Yes, Boyds. Mickey Rourke and his Boyds. And he does have his Boyd in this particular sequence.
And his dad.
His dad, yes.
For at least a few seconds.
Yeah, so his dad, we do find this out later, but I mean, we might as well bring it up now so we know his motivations. His dad used to work with Howard Stark, and their goals didn't quite align, whether it was like one was working more towards protective type equipment and others were working more towards weaponizing
like
equipment.
profiting and...
Yeah, essentially Howard had this guy deported, and as a result of that, he went downhill very quickly, and that's probably contributed to the life that they've led. And Mickey Rourke's character, it's just after good old revenge.
Yep. Nothing too crazy, no convoluted motivations.
No, I would say the convolution comes in the form of the suit that he creates.
It happens all very quickly.
They kind of have to do it quickly because they've got so many other subplots to hammer into this.
They can't give it like the, sort of slow burn villain origin and to debut in the third act or anything like that.
Exactly right. So he builds his own arc reactor and with his little sassy whips, and we get kind of like a parallel to the first one with him building it in this environment that mirrors the cave that Tony builds it in.
Tank
He's doing
top on as well.
Yeah, the hammering. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a good way to sort of set up the character. I love his scream when his dad is dead. Is quite funny. Just the tone he goes for, but hey, who am I to question Mickey Rourke?
Hey, he was trying something.
He was. Yes, he did. In the comics, his dad, Anton Vanko, actually plays another supervillain. And it's like the Russian version of Iron Man. So that's Crimson Dynamo. And then Ivan actually has no relation to Anton. But he's also not the first character to be Whiplash. But then Vanko becomes Whiplash in like 2010. Around the same time that this film is getting made.
I guess what we're seeing is something that a lot of superhero movies fall into the trap of, and that's, I don't know how many of these I'm going to get to make. Let's just pick all the best storylines from the different comics and chuck them all together. A lot more of that later on.
Yeah.
But I even just like the music in this sequence. It kind of feels a little like Raimi Spider-Man-esque, but with some Russian vocals over the top.
That's a good call, yeah. It does feel a little bit like that, and particularly with like the credits happening in the background and everything like that.
The montage style, like, remember what happened in the last film?
Yeah, because Vanko's watching Iron Man reveal himself to the public.
Reveal his identity, not reveal himself.
No.
He's not flashing people on the TV.
Thank God. But Vanko then is like, well, this is the motivation. And then we get a nice little 6 months later.
Yes.
And then we kick off.
with the Stark Expo. So Tony's brought back the Stark Expo, a tradition of his dad's, and the public are just loving a bit of Tony in the old suit.
This opening is fun.
It's pretty good. He does the old superhero landing.
Shoot to Thrill by AC/DC playing in the background.
Oh yeah.
When Back in Black is in the first film, this is like fun. That's a fun
I'm on
needle
board.
drop. And particularly Shoot to Thrill as like a really good sort of like opening song, one of my favourite AC/DC songs. You only get 2 AC/DC needle drops in this film, one at the start and one at the very end of the film with Highway to Hell, but a lot of AC/DC music did get used in the promotion for this film. So like really sort of tied together as well. We get some AC/DC in the first Avengers film as well upon Iron Man's introduction to that film.
Yep.
So it's really like tied in with the character that he's like, a bit of a rocker. He wears like Black Sabbath t-shirts and with Downey's portrayal of Stark, and I think, the soundtrack works with that.
Absolutely it does. I love when he lands and the suit starts to come off and the reveal of his head, and he's kind of like surprised to the audience, like, oh, I'm here.
Look at you guys.
But we cannot go any further without mentioning his bell-bottom trousers. So I had a good chat to you about this in Film Club while it was playing. The costume designer for the film purposely makes every single one of his outfits have that bell-bottom flare at the bottom of the pants to hide the fact that he is wearing like platform boots.
Pretty good. Didn't hide very well because when we were watching it with the family, it was like, some really tall boots that Robert's got on.
The giveaway is when he's in the race car outfit, because there's nothing to hide it, because it's a skin-tight outfit.
It has to be, yeah.
He's clear. He looks like he's wearing Disco Stu's shoe with the goldfish in the bottom of it.
Incredible. It's okay. You can be
goldfish
short.
dead? I can't get them out. As part of the expo, we get 3 cameos, one after the other. We get Olivia Munn as a reporter.
Yes.
A real throwaway role. We get Stan Lee in one of his less remembered cameos.
Larry King.
Yeah, just like in the crowd.
And it's like, oh, hey, Larry. Because he kind of looks like Larry King.
Because he's wearing the
Bye.
suspenders. But surely that's just the RDJ improv as he goes past.
Maybe.
Who knows? For sure. And then we get Kate Mara.
Future Susan Storm.
Yes, exactly
Fantastic.
right. So she is playing a U.S. Marshal. Makes it sound like her name is Marshall. It's like, and you are? Marshall.
It's a good thing she's a major character.
My name's Marshall. U.S. Marshal. Anyway, so she serves him a subpoena because even though the people love him, the government just doesn't.
They don't.
Senator especially.
Senator Stern. Hail Hydra.
Yeah, right?
Future villain.
Keep it on the down low.
I'm trying to. Like, the government hate the fact that, hey, Tony Stark's come up with this incredible new suit, and they see it solely as a weapon that, like, well, we want this. And Tony's like, well, you can't have it. This all plays out in the court, in the televised court scene, obviously, so old mate Vanko can watch along as well.
When he's not listening, and then he finally gets his attention, he's like, yes, dear.
Makes a joke about,
Prostitution.
and then like looks back at Pepper, and is like, "Hey-o!"
Yeah. Did you catch that one?
And he's like, "Oh no, okay."
Don't make that joke.
And Pepper's just like, oh, "Not here,
Not here.
not here, darling."
Save those jokes for the ride home. You can tell me all about the prostitution senator jokes all on the way home. But someone who's equally killing it in this scene, bloody Sam Rockwell.
He's back.
Oh my goodness. So we were talking about he's not the Hammer from the comics,
No.
but he might be better.
Yeah, it's like a really interesting portrayal. Funnily enough, apparently the creator of the Justin Hammer character for the comic books did not like the Sam Rockwell.
Well, that doesn't
Trail at all.
surprise me.
It's like, what have you done with my beautiful character? And one of, sort of a primary antagonist, almost like the anti-Tony Stark sort of in the comics, usually plays a much older figure. So so it's a really different change in terms of how the characters, their interplay. Because Sam Rockwell here comes across, his Justin Hammer
Like
is
the
like
little brother.
100%.
Yeah.
And he's trying to impress and try to be better and try to fit in with his cool younger sibling who they do the same things, but Tony does them significantly better.
Significantly better. I love when he brings up the video because he's trying to justify why he shouldn't have to hand over the equipment, and they're like, it's not safe, we need to study it in case other people are developing this technology, we need to make it better, and he's like, but no one is even close to it. And so he hacks into their screens, shows different people around the world trying to replicate it and failing.
Including Hammer.
And I love it's so good. He's like, I'd just like to point out that pilot survived.
Because he like completely does a 360 in the suit. Just all of how his like dialogue in this scene is so good. The way he just like casually just picks up the mic and starts like
Leaning
like
on the
walking
desk.
and just like, I'm trying to be as cool as Tony Stark, and it's just like, I defer to you, Anthony.
But he laughs as well, like, because obviously Tony is making fun of him constantly, and he's just like laughing under his.
He's just like laughing through it. It was like,
Yeah.
I'm depressed.
I'm dying on the inside.
Like this is killing me.
Absolutely.
He tries to do like a mic drop moment, like Tony was like, God bless Iron Man, God bless America. And it's just like a smattering of applause. And that's something that happens later again at the expo when he's trying to do like the similar kind of performance.
Yeah, and then Iron Man comes in and everyone's like,
Whoa! This is the real
Tobey
deal.
Maguire, woo!
Literally. I mean, yeah.
We also get Rhodey in this scene, and they...
But it's a different Rhodey.
What? Is it?
Is it?
No, they directly reference the Terrence Howard swap. I had forgotten this, and you were like, just wait, it's coming up, And it's very, very good. Don Cheadle comes in, and he goes, it's me, I'm here, deal with it, let's move on.
So good. Even before Rhodey talks, Tony's like, hey, buddy, didn't expect to see you here.
To see you, Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle?
What are you doing
movie?
here? It feels particularly relevant at the moment because the new Captain America trailer also does the same thing.
Still getting used to having no beard, obviously with Harrison Ford taking
Harrison
over
Ford,
from
yeah, he's
the
like,
late
oh,
and
it's
great
the
William Hurt.
mustache, right? And it's like, no, it's the different actor.
It's with a significantly different tone.
We can see that Rhodey's a little bit caught between two sides here. He does say that there's things that you can't really predict about the suit, but at the same time, he's like, but that's being taken out of context, and I completely support what Tony is doing here. Essentially, the scene ends with Tony being like, no, you're not taking it. I'm doing you a favor.
I've successfully privatized world peace.
Yeah.
Cue
Woo.
double peace figures.
Yeah, exactly. Cue Richard Nixon.
Literally. Walks out, is doing shimmies and talking.
Shimmies and shakes.
And yeah, Vanko's watching and he's got the whips cracking, essentially.
Yeah, he does. Metaphorically and literally.
Literally.
But we find out, too, another subplot that they're really cramming into this one.
Just like
that
the Palladium.
Tony is, gradually being poisoned. He needs to essentially find it's like an alternate power source, I guess, for his chest arc reactor. He's getting them fancy crossword puzzles on his neck and chest.
Yeah.
This is a good sequence. We get that nice banter between Pepper and Tony. This is where I said to you, do you reckon they just vaguely know where the scene is going and the two actors are just finding their way there? Because they talk over the top of each
very
other.
organic,
It feels super natural. I love the stuff that they're saying. Like, it's a fun mix of like quite clever comedy and quite silly remarks. Because she's obviously a little bit sick. He's like, next time I see you, I need you to wear a surgical mask. And she's just like, okay, that's rude in the background. And then she's mentioning something about a wind farm. And he's like, don't say wind farm. I'm already feeling gassy.
That's incredible.
So silly, right?
It's yeah. Their chemistry is a highlight of all of the Marvel films, and like through this whole process, it leaves Pepper speechless that Tony's trying to make her CEO.
CEO. I have noticed though in these films, back-to-back films with Iron Man, anytime Pepper's mad at Tony, he just is like, be my girlfriend, or be the owner of the company. Are you mad? You still mad? I fixed it.
I gave you something.
Yeah, exactly.
I gave you a treat.
He needs to grow up a little bit. A little bit. He's still finding that, though. And I do like that he doesn't quite get there in this film. He has a redeeming arc, but he's still not the refined Tony Stark that we get towards the end.
No, not at all. And things are still hanging around sort of from his like previous life, I guess, is, you know, the fact that he's at the start of Iron Man before he gets hit by one of his own bombs. He sucks as a character.
Yeah.
So he's still like trying to sort of get rid of that.
And we get a very clear look at the progression, but hasn't progressed too far, of his womanizing side when we meet Black Widow.
Natalie Rushman.
Undercover as Natalie Rushman.
I want one.
No.
Yeah, like it goes through and like Pepper introduces her as like a very expensive sexual harassment lawsuit waiting to happen.
Yep. And he looks up like her modeling career and then it's like to Pepper, did you do modeling?
Yeah,
Like,
did you model in Tokyo?
I don't think you're qualified for this anymore. But I do like how quickly they establish her as not taking shit. Like, there's this weird balance between being like, I'll do everything you need, Tony, but then as soon as she's in the boxing ring and she has to fight with Jon Favreau,
She completely kicks
his ass. And I love that he's directing this film. You can see him talking down to her, like, are you going to be okay? and then he gets his own ass kicked. And it's like, I love that you've put that into your own movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Mess around and find out, essentially.
Mess around and find out.
That's what they say. Hard to get a read on where Miss Rushman is sort of coming into things from legal.
You could say that they Rushmaned her storyline.
A little bit, yeah. And then we go to Monaco. Tony's got a car in the Monaco Grand Prix and starts to make his way through the event and meeting different people. Has a chat with old Elon Musk.
Elon Musk?
And this
What a
random cameo.
What a cameo.
You got the space jet or something. You're talking about electric jet or something like that.
Yeah, and Tony's just like, we'll make it happen. And then Justin Hammer literally pops out. He's behind a group of people and he just leans out.
There's Tony!
It's so good. And he genuinely, even though he was shut down the last time he saw Tony, he genuinely looks excited to see him again. And I actually really think that us talking about him as being like a little brother is the perfect kind of encapsulation.
100% the dynamic.
Yeah.
He's trying so hard to impress him with the journalist from Vanity Fair that Tony knows very well from the first film.
Yeah, so this is the one that Pepper referred to as trash in the first film. And then in this one, shames her again, saying something about she did a spread on Tony.
And then Tony's like, she also did an article as well.
It's like, yeah, Pepper already made the joke, Tony.
You don't need to double down.
You don't have to explain it.
He's just trying to make Hammer feel bad, basically.
Basically, but
And
I just felt bad. That poor girl. She's done a lot for this franchise. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't know that he was Iron Man. She basically baited him into saying it at the end of the first film.
thanks, character I can't remember his name.
She's a valued member of the team.
And then they go and get photos taken. Say Brie, fromage.
Because he says he needs a slot in the article or whatever. And he's like,
Hammer
Hammer
needs
needs a slot. And he's like, haha, we kid. Wicketers.
It's really, really good. He leaves Hammer there, and you can see he's getting over it, which, I mean, is fair enough.
But Tony puts on his old his racing suit and his platform shoes.
And because he's like, well, no one else is going to drive my car. I'm Tony Stark.
Yeah, first time I've ever noticed it. The actual driver is pissed.
Yeah, he's like, this is my big chance to drive in one of like the biggest Grand Prix in the world.
Throws his helmet on the ground.
Sorry, man. I'm your boss, and get out of the car.
Though a couple of minutes later, he'd probably be pretty thankful he wasn't there.
He's like, okay, I probably dodged a bullet, or a whip.
Because Vanko just walks right onto the track. I don't know, like, technically he is part of the security team, but he sticks out like a sore thumb. He's wearing a little hat. His chest piece makes it look like...
He's super jacked.
Yeah, wow.
Essentially. But then the suit just starts to melt away because, well, the whiplash suit has been activated.
Kind of looks cool, though.
I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, I like this sequence.
It's pretty cool.
And there's a couple of fun moments that kind of sell it for me. I really like the moment where Tony realizes his suit's on fire. He's like, and he just starts patting it out. I love Happy just repeatedly ramming the car.
Happy to the rescue
That's
at all
it.
times.
But the thing that for me, I always remembered about this film, whether I like the film as a whole or not, I love the suitcase suit.
Pretty cool. The football.
I think, and I even said this in my Letterboxd review, I think this is the suit up that they kept trying to top in films afterwards and never quite got there. Some of the ones where it can be pulled to his body, stuff like that is kind of cool in the third film.
The one where he drops out of the helicopter in Civil War.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, it's okay, but I don't think it ever gets as good as this. This is like a really cool one. I hate nanotech ones later on. They just look goofy.
Yeah, but it becomes convenient, though.
Yeah, I know. But this one is just like, it's a perfect suit up for me.
Yeah.
I love it.
I like the red and silver, too.
Oh, the look is great.
Yeah. He has a Silver Centurion armor in the comics. I'm going to get really nerdy here. But they
What
don't...
have you been doing so far?
Barely scratching the surface.
Hold on to your butts.
It's time for an overhaul. Really good sort of red and silver armor in the comics. This isn't quite that armor. We get more of a sort of comic accurate Silver Centurion armor in Iron Man 3. But yeah, the same sort of color scheme for this one. And I like it as like a bit of a difference. And plus, it's an excuse to get another suit at the end of the movie.
It's also an excuse to...
make toys.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What else do they make movies for if not to make toys and for multiple merchandising opportunities?
Superhero movies especially, yeah.
100%. But yeah, they punch on.
They do punch on. It's not a very long punch on. He is able to take him down pretty quickly.
I reckon in total of the fights that Iron Man has with Whiplash, we're lucky to crack 10 minutes.
Yes. Because they got to cram in all that other plot. Grumble, grumble. We'll get there. We'll get there. Them in a bottle's coming up.
Yeah, true.
Ivan goes to jail, but Hammer pretty much breaks him out
'Cause he's
straight
intrigued.
away because he wants him to work on his own suits.
He's watching him on TV and being like, yes.
I spy an opportunity. When he's breaking out of jail, though, I would probably have opened my cell before I set the charge on the explosive. Just in case. What if they'd put the wrong key
Imagine
there?
that. Whoops.
Yeah. Even worse, what if he'd eaten his mashed potato?
It means we might have got a less overstuffed for the rest of the film.
He would have been overstuffed
He would have been.
with explosives.
Yeah. It's a pretty fun sort of like little breakout scene. Shows how sort of ruthless Vanko is, killing guards on the way out, and is taken to an undisclosed location in like a airport hangar or something like
Yeah,
that.
with a little table set up for Hammer to
ready
have.
for a nice little meal.
Yeah.
How considerate from Justin.
It's pretty good. Their whole back and forth is really nice. Ivan's just like doing his own thing while the plan is being explained to him, and they're clearly not on the same page. He's just in his head, he's already going, how can I use this to benefit myself?
Yep.
He's not listening at all, and it's a joy to watch.
Yeah, Hammer's trying to go out of his way to literally wine and dine him.
And get him his Boyd.
Get him his Boyd. That's his one condition.
Yeah.
He needs the Boyd. Not just any Boyd, but his Boyd.
I can get you as many birds as you want.
Yeah. The
No, I
best
want
birds.
my Boyd.
From Russia?
Maybe we can do that.
He's sort of starting to pick up sort of on some of the language that Hammer's using, and then Vanko's like, very good, man. And, and then Hammer's like, yeah, very good, man. They start laughing, and it's like, sounds like me doing the intro to the pod. I'm like, this is a fun time. We are laughing.
We are laughing.
Good fun.
At this point, now that the cat is out of the bag,
Jesus.
so you don't say it like that. Now that the government has seen that people are in fact hot on his tail of making their own suits, they're going gung-ho about taking Stark's suits.
Because that's why Vanko's like, you lose.
Yeah,
On the
exactly.
racetrack. And Tony's like, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about? I won.
But no, he's starting to lose because, yeah, the pressure's on.
So Rhodey steps in to kind of defend him at first, but very quickly regrets his decision when he sees how careless Stark is getting. He starts to spiral. He has his party, but he gets drunk and pisses in the suit and starts smashing champagne bottles.
He does.
This is where they squeeze a 9-issue story arc into about 5 minutes of screen time.
Demon in a bottle. Which is
Demon
where
in a bottle.
Justin Hammer is a key player in that storyline, so it makes sense that it is in this film.
But it's not really related
But
to
Hammer's
it.
got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And like, for those who aren't a total comic book nerd like myself, Demon in a Bottle is like one of probably the most known Iron Man storylines. It's really, really good. It doesn't pull any punches on how brutal the depths of Tony Stark's alcoholism takes place. But yeah, the fact that they just cram this into like one party scene and really trivialize it made me quite frustrated.
Yeah.
Because Demon in a Bottle itself could be the whole film if it wanted to, if they wanted to remove some of this other stuff. Because Whiplash is also a part of Demon in a Bottle, but he's not the main villain. The villain is the bottle. That's the demon. It really could have leant into this to make the film have a significant amount more emotional weight. Granted that maybe the storyline wouldn't have been PG and we wouldn't be talking about it in a film club.
What a shame that would have been.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, they really crammed it in. The party scene's fun and stuff like that, don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit sort of frustrating. But we do get Rhodey finally putting on a suit.
Yeah, so obviously Tony's acting very dangerous because he's drunk and just blasting
He's
in the
firing
middle.
repulse rays at like thrown champagne bottles and stuff like that.
And
the crowd
no one
egging him on.
seems scared.
No, they're like, yeah,
Um,
whoa.
But yeah, he goes down, he puts on a suit, and it's so funny because the last time he considered doing this, he was Terrence Howard, and he
he's like,
says,
maybe next
maybe
time."
next time. It's like, nope, not for you, Terrence.
He got too much of a pay cut. That's why he wasn't.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about it, but he was particularly frustrated because in the first film, he gave up some of his pay to go towards RDJ or just the film in general?
First one.
Okay, RDJ, and then felt like he wasn't being respected enough in the second film. He got a pay cut, and as a result, was like, nah, I'm out. We talked about a similar situation with Crispin Glover.
Probably not the best career decision from Terrence Howard.
Yeah, whoopsie.
Bit of a whoopsie, but that's okay. You can go talk about how he's killed gravity on a Joe Rogan podcast now. So
He would have killed Gravity way more if he had an Iron Man suit, though. Anyway, so they get into a big old fight. I don't know that the fight itself is that compelling, but it's more compelling because they're two best friends fighting.
They got some good needle drops too.
Yeah, that's true.
Another one bites the dust, and then one of my favourite ones is Robot Rock by Daft Punk, which is good. And then they priori incantatum, basically blasting each other with repulsors.
Jeez, call back to Harry Potter. We should have got Maddie on this podcast.
Just for that.
She would have appreciated it more than I. I'll tell you that much. I also, though, don't like how quickly Rhodey picks up how to use the suit. Especially because the first film spends a long time with Tony working out how to do it. And granted, he's probably made upgrades to the suit, so perhaps functionality is easier now. But for me, it devalues Tony as a superhero when anyone else can do what he can do as soon as they put the suit on. And I guess, like, you argue, well, Tony is more than the suit, he's his character. But I also think his ability to fight and his skill set and the fact that he knows tech and knows how to use the suit in that way should factor into it as well. So
I think so, because we understand that obviously Rhodey is an accomplished military figure. Obviously, it makes sense that he would, he knows how to fight. There's a difference between fighting hand to hand and putting on a $1 billion suit of armor.
100%.
So yeah, that's, I don't know, it's a little bit convenient.
Well, and I think that's probably part of the reason they conveniently disable him later on in the film so that Tony can get more of an opportunity to shine as the hero.
Well, that's the thing. Potentially, if Tony was showing the effects of his being drunk a little bit more in the fight, because as soon as he starts fighting,
he's incredible.
Yeah, it's like, nah, all good and fueled basically. And I'm like, if you made him maybe stumbling around and maybe struggling to throw a punch or something like that, that totally justifies why Rhodey can hang with him in his first time in the suit.
Yeah, and they're like, we've got too much plot to get through. So
exactly,
Rhodey takes him out relatively easily,
takes the suit,
takes it back to the military to be studied.
Exactly, and then we get hungover donut man.
We sure do. No good.
No, and then we get the lovely MCU building in the middle of this film. It completely veers off for the next, I don't know, what feels like the next 25 to 30 minutes.
It's not really MCU building. That's why they've shoehorned the characters in there. But nothing that they're talking about is really justifying what they want.
No, they mention stuff in New Mexico, which is obviously talking about pre-Thor things.
Yes, but why do they care about this Tony storyline? That's small potatoes for them.
Exactly. It's like if you've got potentially a Norse god. Yeah, Tony's sort of mucking around with the suit. Oh yeah, he was getting a bit messy at a party. I reckon we need to in here. Use your time better. You work for S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's the thing. For me, especially because we find out they don't want to recruit him. Why are they spending any time around this? And maybe you could justify, while she's still assessing him.
Seems like she's made that call.
Yeah, exactly.
So we want one, not the other.
But anyway, they step in to give him the confidence boost he needs because they know that he is gradually being poisoned and they want to help him solve that problem.
Yes,
but
to create a new element.
In my experience watching the other films, Nick Fury would be like, oh, well, this guy's a write-off. We can't devote any resources to this. He's going to die from that poison. We'll assemble a different team.
Yeah, he's got options.
Yeah. Anyway, we also learn Natalie's true identity at this point, and he's a little gobsmacked. But they give him a bunch of his dad's old stuff and inspire him to keep on keeping and make a new element that will replace his arc core. Piece of cake. New element.
It's fine. It's just light work for Tony. We also get some more funny Rockwell Rourke back and forth.
So Ivan has made drones instead of suits for Justin Hammer.
I love the other guy who's there with Hammer. Jack gives him the help. Jack, try to put your head in. It's just this great shot of him with the
Try to put your head in there. He can't put his head in there.
Look at him. And Jack's like, I can't put my head in there. What are we doing? It's so
He
good.
can't put his head in there.
He's like, nah,
good.
it just makes more sense. But it clearly, Whiplash is trying to do his own thing.
But that's okay, because even if things aren't quite ready, Hammer's now been offered Rhodey's suit as the intro for his expo.
Oh, yeah.
And this part is so fun.
It's my favourite part of the scene in the movie, I think.
Basically, because he is going to use the War Machine suit, he's got to deck it out with all his own guns.
So many guns.
There is a montage of him just going through it. This one isn't disco enough? Okay, we'll move on to this way. We've got Uncle Gazpacho.
Yeah, this is the minigun, hippie control, Puff the Magic Dragon, wrong. And then
Just the fact that he's wearing the suit with the white gloves and he's holding the guns. It's very good.
it's
very,
like presenting
fun.
like a show very similar to like the actor who's in Shaun of the Dead and is in John Wick is presenting John Wick with the guns. It's the guy on straight over your head.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know which Shaun of the Dead actor we're referring to.
Oh, the housemate.
Oh, okay, yep.
All the
He's the
different
guy
guns
from
and
Black
stuff.
Books. Fran.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's doing the trade reports, the shipping reports. Very good. His
Oh my
most known
goodness.
role, probably.
We love our tangents.
We do. All of these weapons are just an entree to the main course.
The main course. I call it the ex-wife.
This is my Pieta, this is my Rachmaninoff's. It's just the way he builds up to this missile.
Which, of course, is defective.
And it's just the way they was like hammer tech. It's like, yep, a good gag to have.
That is a quality gag.
But yeah, they just pack the whole thing with guns. He's like,
a little
"Oh,
tacky."
I'll take it. What? All of it. That's fine.
Yeah, it's a little tacky. But Tony starts looking through all his dad's old footage, notes, files, and his dad basically says the model in the office is the key to the future.
Yeah.
Hidden message in there. But not just a hidden message, also a hidden acknowledgement of love that he never physically gave to his son. So really, this video just came along at the right time.
Exactly.
Bit
Finally
of love,
fixed
a
all
pat
of
on
his
the back, and hidden message to solve the element problem.
daddy issues. Bang, they're gone. It's all good.
Plot convenience.
Incredibly convenient.
Big old tick.
So yeah, so starts to use the expo map to find the new element. Also, we've got to this stage and haven't talked about another SHIELD agent who's made a lovely little return in this film.
Coulson?
Yeah,
So
Clark
good.
Gregg's back, who's
So good.
one of the parts of this film, because it's been a while since I probably watched early MCU stuff. I forgot how much I miss Coulson in these films.
Oh, he's great. Where have you been? I was doing stuff.
It's like, no, I'll tase you until you're basically on the floor.
I'll
Like
taser you and watch like Super Nanny or something.
Yeah.
While you drool into the carpet.
classic Coulson.
So, classic Coulson.
Loves that.
I just love the way he presents it. Like he doesn't show any emotion. It's great.
But he like really cares. That's like one of the best, like most impactful sort of deaths I think in the entire MCU is when he passes away. Because
100%.
they actually set him up over multiple movies, and
It'd be
he's
so much
important.
more impactful if they didn't bring him back immediately for the show.
What show?
Exactly. Attaboy. So he goes to apologize to Pepper so he can pick up the model. It doesn't really take, because firstly he brings
got-
her strawberries,
which
which
is-
she's allergic to.
Classic.
But I do like that he's like, actually, this is progress, because like I knew there was a correlation there. It's pretty funny. And also I love the Ferris wheel thing on the desk.
Yeah, he's just-
it's like driving him insane.
It's
isn't it?
maddening.
So she's like, nope, no dice. So he takes the model home. Jarvis kind of scans it, and then it comes up. The whole time he's in his lab, he's like flicking things out of the way.
That part's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool, but he just somehow invents a new element. Like, his dad did all the legwork, but I still don't quite get... They really yada yada over how just by looking at the model, he's like, that's it, I've solved it.
And then there's the other key ingredient as well. The fact that he can prop the pipe up with a prototype Captain America shield.
Yeah, which is just there for some reason. I guess his dad invented the shield, right?
Correct.
So he'd have some prototypes around.
Yeah, like this little
He,
unfinished
he, had
one.
that, he had that one cardboard box from his dad, and what it was all of the work to make this element, and that one Captain
And
America
all of the
prototype
Easter
shield.
eggs for the MCU. This nice little box of Easter eggs. And it's perfect.
You can tell Coulson wants it too. Where'd you get that?
Yeah, he
loves a bit of
Cap. After the element is created, we've got a new arc reactor, and everything's going to be okay. Vanko's basically...
It tastes like coconut?
yeah,
Coconut and metal.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa!
What a rush.
Tony Shalhoub would have loved it.
It would have. Tony Montana would have loved that reaction, I think, as well. But
Ooh-ah!
essentially, yeah. Outside of the fact that obviously Vanko's making these lovely little drones, he's making a new Whiplash suit behind Hammer's back. Does another arc reactor in record time.
Yeah.
Um,
But Hammer being pissed at him, that is a great sequence.
Very necessary tonal shift in his character to show that, hey, we know you're having a great time with Sam Rockwell, but he's still a villain.
Yeah.
And the fact
Oh, you
that
like the bird now?
Take it.
Is that your bird? I'm confused. Like, it's really good because he's still funny but scary at the same time.
Puts the bird in the bag and is
Take
like...
his bird and his pillow and his shoes.
And his shoes. Not the shoes. And not the... No, take the pillows, both of them.
I don't speak Russian.
That had me absolutely howling that line.
It's so good.
And it's like, okay, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go to the expo.
But when we come back, torture time.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm going to leave you in the more than capable hands of these two guards who die very quickly.
But he's not too upset about it because he knows that at the expo he has a shining star to kick things off. So dances his way through. It's so good. And he keeps doing dance moves when he introduces each of the types of suits. So he's like, Army,
while he's turning around. And
Navy. When he says Marines, he pelvic thrusts. He goes, Marines. It's so good. Just go back to that part and watch that because it's fantastic.
He's having a great time. He's trying to tell some gags, sort of what I mentioned before, and it just don't land. And there's just kind of this like smattering of applause. And then, of course, as you said, sort of capped off by the first appearance of Wow Machine, which is also the name of an AC/DC song.
And let's not forget the famous Tolstoy book, War, What Is It Good For?
Absolutely nothing.
Anyway,
Say it again.
So Rourke kills Hammer's guards with relative ease.
Yep.
And takes
has them
over.
hanging in like the in the background, which is a pretty cool shot.
It is a cool shot. And he calls Tony just to tip him off that something's going to go down, which is nice. Nice of him. But he takes over the drones and Rhodey's suit. And
Iron Man rocks up and
he sure does. He's like, chase me, and goes out. Now, if he was trying to draw the drones away from the crowd, why would he fly so low? Because it is a miracle that people don't get shot or exploded in this sequence. It is very careless of him.
That's just Tony. He's pretty careless.
It's Tonebone.
That's an old careless Tonebone.
Yeah, but you know who's the big hero of this scene? Spider-Man, of
the
course.
guy on my t-shirt.
Spider-Man.
As everybody knows, this is the first MCU appearance of Spider-Man.
Feige is confirmed.
Retroactive.
For some reason, that the random little kid wearing the Iron Man mask that he says, thanks, kid, or thanks for the help, or something to. We've both repressed it from our memory because it's so infuriating.
Yeah, because that's what the Spider-Man needed. Just another connection to Iron Man.
Yeah. Why?
It's so frustrating.
The pain is lessened for me because of how much it frustrates you, so I get a little bit of joy back from that.
You're welcome. But yeah, he saves Peter Parker. He does that, and then the chase begins.
It certainly does.
So Rhodey's leading the pack and firing away. We get it's a nice little sort of like dogfight scene that we probably don't get a lot of these in the Iron Man franchise, like a flying around sort of battle scene. So that's kind of cool. And the fact that Mickey Rourke's just sort of like behind the scenes, just hitting buttons, trying to get him to shoot different peoples, and Rhodey's out of control of his suit. I do like how they manage to take out the drones, and like Tony plots a nice little course to go through the globe at the expo.
And the fountain. That's what he says.
And film.
Take off your socks and put on your Crocs because we're about to get wet.
That classic Tony line. Flies through, takes out all the drones. Rhodey's still hanging around though. Yeah, and then Hammer's basically trying to work out what's going on. And Pepper and Black Widow were there basically to put a stop to him. Yeah,
but Black Widow doesn't stick around too long. Pepper's got that situation handled. So old ScarJo and Favreau, the dynamic duo.
I'd be happy with that buddy cop film.
Hell yeah, I would. I love the scene with them in here. So they go and break into Hammer's
Hammer Tech, yep.
His lair. His lair, but it's just a company.
It's a building.
And Scarlett Johansson takes out all of the guards while Jon Favreau takes out the one.
And he's like,
he's so proud. He's like, I got it.
And then he looks and there's
people hanging from the roof and
splayed everywhere. He's like, damn, she good.
It's a pretty cool action sequence, though she does get much cooler ones in later films. I think the thing that probably is not as good about this one is it cuts too quickly.
Yes.
They do a lot more longer takes later on because they start to realize, actually, it's more effective to just let the stunt people do their thing.
Crazy idea.
Yeah, right?
What a foreign concept.
It still is pretty cool, and she goes in, but Ivan has taken off. He's gone, so she's able to reboot Rhodey's suit.
And he's back, and they're in this nice sort of bonsai tree situation. It's all lovely, and it looks peaceful, and it's about to not be peaceful.
Yeah.
All the drones are coming.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a nothing battle.
Yeah, it's just like, cool, we're fighting back
bang,
to back.
Bang, bang,
and
laser.
Stuff. Shows Tony's new tech, and he's like, and then he's like, hey, did you see that one? And Rhodey's like, cool, I'm going to keep firing the same machine guns and do nothing else. He's got all of these different guns, but it's mainly just blasting with these ones on the wrist gauntlets. He's got the minigun.
He gives the ex-wife a crack.
Yeah, I know, but he had all these other guns.
Yeah.
Could have got a little bit more interesting, but that's it anyway. He's just a war machine. He's just a humble war machine.
He's just a war machine.
He's just a war machine. We wouldn't do.
But it is nice to see them kind of going back to back. I'd probably be a little more cautious if I was going to like crack out that laser to just double check Rhodey has Bob down before I do it.
He's like, get down.
Get down. Bam! Did you get down? I didn't check. He might have lost his legs a little earlier in the franchise.
Hey-oh! Hey-oh!
Whoa!
Nice. Basically, all the drones are gone. That's fine. All right, it was cool. And then Ivan's back with a brand new suit. It's like an updated version of the Ironmonger suit that Jeff Bridges was in the first one.
The note that I'm literally looking at: people need to stop taking their helmets off while they're halfway through a fight with Tony Stark. What the hell? He would have been fine. They were fine when the thing exploded. He would have been fine if he just kept the helmet down.
But he didn't.
He didn't. Although his face doesn't have any sort of scarring afterwards. Whatever.
Convenient. Incredibly quick fight.
Yeah. They're like,
and I hate this so much.
Well, I didn't hate it because I was like, that means we're close to the end of the movie.
I think just like, given the fact that you're setting this villain up to have like a personal connection to Tony's past, the fact that they kind of get through this last fight, nothing's really said, just have it like a little bit more fleshed out.
So all the drones, after he gets taken out, are rigged to blow.
Yeah, because they do the priority and containment thing again.
Yeah,
right?
exactly
blast
right.
Each other.
How is it that everyone is clear except Pepper?
Legit, yeah. Like, they just cleared out this entire expo.
So much. And if everyone else is cleared out, what the hell is Pepper still doing there?
Exactly, she's just hanging around. It's like, no, it's okay, I'm just going to stay here. Why?
I don't know.
The cops are like, you need to go. It's like, nah.
I just think it would be better if a lot of people had died. Show some consequences.
In the movie?
Oh, yeah, I guess that too. No, but he jumps in, saves her, and then they have a little kiss on the roof.
The relationship's on.
And it's kind of like, it was on at the end of the first film, right? It's been a little while since I've seen the first one as well. He tells her at the end of the first film that he's into her, right?
Yeah, and then it's sort of like basically more of a thing in this film.
Well, it doesn't seem like it's a thing in this film until this moment.
I think they like kind of set up they're kind of interested in each other in the first film. This is the first time they kiss, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, and even if it is like seals eating a grape, which is what Rhodey says when he's watching.
He says that their kissing is like seals eating a grape.
Yep.
Wow.
What a line.
Whoa. Justin Theroux, what a line.
What a line indeed.
Oh dear. But then it all wraps up pretty quickly.
It's fine. Rhodey keeps the suit. So obviously War Machine's going to be back and bigger
than ever. Yeah, he's like, my car blew up in the explosion, so I'm going to keep the suit. But Fury tells Stark he can't be in the Avengers, even though when the Avengers comes around, they just completely reverse this.
Yeah, it's convenient. Because like Romanov thinks that, Iron Man's ready, but Tony Stark isn't.
Yes.
Essentially, that's what they say. So he's going to consult with the Avengers. And we get Highway to Hell in the background. It's all happening. And then Iron Man finishes. And then obviously we get Coulson with the post-credit scene in New Mexico. And
I didn't wait for the post-credit scene.
I only did it so I can just reference a really silly Ant-Man and the Wasp interview clip. And they're asking all the cast, like, what's the name of Thor's hammer? And they're all like, Mjolnir. And then Paul Rudd's like, Jonathan?
That's pretty good.
Which is pretty funny. So that's Iron Man 2.
It sure is. And look, as much as we did poke fun at this, I really don't mind this film too much. I think it's definitely got its flaws because of how great the MCU has become. But when this came out, it was a fine sequel. I didn't mind. I really like the character, so that went a long way for me. I still think it was a good choice, Ignatius, and I am glad that even though a lot of the MCU films do fall under the M banner and therefore won't make it into Film Club, it was nice to be able to tick one off.
100%. This film is still a good time. I think it's a film that, in popular lists of Marvel films, this will be at the bottom, but I don't think it's that bad. I think it's a good time. Obviously, I've talked about its holes and poked them quite furiously with my repulsor rays, but at the same time, there's a fun film to be had here, and a lot of that is because of Justin Hammer and Sam Rockwell having an awesome time. So Iron Man 2, a good time. Thank you, Ignatius, for suggesting it.
Thank you to Jed for the intro as well.
Awesome intro. Thanks, Jed, and yeah.
Alrighty, let us move on to Tantalising Trailers.
Tantalizing films. Trailers. Don't know if we will be a fan. How will
Got a new trailer, one of the freshest ones that I've seen actually on my list, and basically we got a full-length trailer for Joker Folie à Deux.
I did check it out. Knowing that you were going to talk about it today, I wanted to see what it was like. I got some thoughts.
Me too. I like Joker as a movie. I don't like it as a Joker movie because I don't like the fact that one of the greatest pop culture antagonists of all time who thrives without a backstory has a backstory. I don't like that.
I really don't like that, but I also just don't like the movie at all. I feel it talks down to its audience. I also feel like the character is made to be far more complex than they actually are. Everything that happens to him in the film where it's like he is downtrodden, it's like that's too many things. You are not getting attacked by 4 separate groups of people on the one day.
That's a very bad day.
Yeah, right? I don't really like the film at all. This one looks...
Interesting.
Interesting is a good way of putting it.
Considering it's a musical?
Yeah, but they haven't really leaned into that. I would say the teaser kind of leaned into that a little more. This trailer didn't feel very musical.
No, that's like got elements where it looks like Joker, Arthur Fleck, and Harleen Quinzel. Lady Gaga. On a stage somewhere. It looks like they're performing like a live TV show. I don't know. It's kind of hard to get a read on this film. I don't know sort of where it's going to be sitting at tonally. Is it going to be lighter because of the fact it's a musical? It's going to be like a dark comedy musical. And because that first film is like really grim, it's depressing. The one thing I do like about Joker is the fact that the Gotham setting is very interesting in that style. What feels like basically Taxi Driver was taking place in Gotham City. Yeah, I'm kind of interested to sort of see how things go like inside Arkham. Eagle-eyed people would have picked up on the fact that if you have your closed captions on the trailer, it has actually a scene where Harvey Dent is talking, so we're going to get Two-Face. So are we getting singing Billy D. Williams in this film? I don't know. No, he's not in the film.
We can have I'll tell you who is in the film, and I went, oh no.
Brendan Gleeson?
Yeah, they've dragged him into it.
As a Arkham security guard.
Yeah.
Just like a nothing character.
I felt bad. I also found it amusing. There's a sequence where he's in the back of the police car and he laughs. And it looks like he's practicing his laugh and then going, oh, no, that wasn't right. Have we just seen some B-roll footage of him on set? Like, try to do the laugh and then go, no, it wasn't crazy enough. I need to go further. Well, the whole thing is the fact that he can't control his laugh. Well, he can if he's rehearsing it.
Exactly. So, yeah, I don't know.
He's in the back of the cop car going,
Exactly. The Arthur Fleck podcast.
I won't be subscribing.
No. I'll go see this movie because I'm just intrigued more after the trailer, but I haven't been swayed strongly either way to go watch this movie or to avoid it. We're starting to get a little bit more about the trailer and how like Harley Quinn is infatuated with Joker, similar to the comics as well.
The Joker from the comics is somewhat charming. Arthur is a thoroughly unlikable character. It's part of the reason the movie is so insufferable for me.
Because it's hard to find sort of like redeeming qualities.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joker Folie à Deux. What you got for us?
For me, I'm going to kick things off. Very quick one. Last Straw. I only saw the trailer for it today. In the trailer, it's got all of these reviews like, blew my mind. What a revolutionary thing. Latest and greatest in home invasion stories. It just looks like The Strangers, but set in a diner. So essentially,
I did see this, yeah.
A girl is given like the overnight shift in a 24-hour diner. She's there by herself, not expecting anything, and then some people come and terrorize her. But they look like they're terrorizing her in the strangest masks.
Oh, so
like the doll face.
Is it an unofficial Strangers sequel?
I mean, like, there's a lot to be argued with these kinds of movies that they can't be completely original. You're going to have to take elements from other areas. But for me, there was just nothing about this trailer that was like, this is revolutionary. And yet, despite the fact that we haven't done Tantalising Trailers for over a month, I've watched a lot of trailers, and I only had 3 that I wanted to talk about today. And one of them is this one. So it's still at the higher end of the trailers that I've seen lately.
That's the level of tantalising we're getting to today.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing. Yeah, so it was intriguing enough, and she looked like she was putting in a good performance, and I kind of like this style of horror.
Yeah.
But I just found that it was a little bit strange that everyone was like, it's revolutionary, when it doesn't seem like they're doing anything fresh.
Okay.
So I'm fine for a repeated storyline, but I'm wondering what everyone's raving about.
Yes.
Hopefully there's something I've missed.
Maybe. Next up for moi, Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. We get a full trailer. There's a big discussion happening around trailers at the moment.
It's too much!
But it's, yeah, every trailer is too much. And I feel like I got way too much of this film in the trailer compared to watching the original trailer that came. I was like, oh, this is like just showed a nice little glimpse of Keaton as Beetlejuice at the end. Cool, I'm gassed about it. And I was like, I watched the trailer, I was like, okay, cool. But it's just, yeah, it's a bit much. Like, it obviously starts to completely unpack the narrative and what's going to happen. It looks like Winona Ryder and Beetlejuice are teaming up to go save General Ortega.
Yeah, so my thoughts when I watched this one, I was really excited after the teaser. Now I'm like, yeah, I'll still go see it. I don't know why showing more of the plot made me less excited, but it did. It definitely did. It's part of the reason why I haven't watched the latest Deadpool and Wolverine trailer.
Is that trailer number 11?
Look, they always do lots of teasers and stuff, but there was like another longer trailer, and apparently, I mean, most of the listeners probably already know this, apparently there was some big spoilers in that last one, and I am so glad that someone informed me. It was Jave actually told me, do not watch it, and so I steered clear, but yeah, it was lucky. Like, I was literally about to press play and a message came through, don't watch this trailer.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Apparently Feige's actually said they're going to look at not doing this in the future.
Yeah, they should.
Good.
Well, why can't they market it like Spider-Man No Way Home? That was incredible marketing.
But no, couldn't do it. But yeah, Beetlejuice, still keen for it, but like...
I'll still go see it.
It still looks good, like in terms of practical effects and VFX as well, like some more digital things. You've got all the other characters. You've got Willem Dafoe and Monica Bellucci and Justin Theroux and all that. You sort of... The world's starting to take shape again, and I like that. But it's just a bit much.
Justin Theroux, famous writer of Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
I was kind of just disappointed that now we're getting more of the film, but it looks like we're not getting much more of Catherine O'Hara.
No, she barely pops up at all in the trailer. I was
Might get a little dance in the church sequence, though.
Ooh, hopefully.
There.
That would be good. I'll talk about a film that I'm actually pretty gassed about seeing, and that's Captain America Brave New World, which has changed titles and had a lot of reshoots. The production for this film has been chaotic to say the least. One of my favourite wrestlers was making his big screen debut as a villain of the Serpent Society. Apparently they may have cut that sequence entirely from the film, which I'm a bit sad about, if that's actually the case. I'm excited for this film because the Captain America films have been probably my favourite of the MCU, outside of probably Guardians and parts of the Spider-Man trilogy. For like a lot of people, Winter Soldier is their favourite Marvel film. It's definitely up there with mine, because I really like sort of a political spy thriller, much in the vein of, you know, sort of like a Tom Clancy sort of vibe. Yep. I really like those films, and putting that inside the MCU and sort of the more grounded reality of who Cap is as a hero.
Now I'm really disappointed that I removed Iron Patriot Games from my movie mashups. You would have loved it.
I would have. But anyway, this trailer looks really good. Obviously, it's kicking things back off with Sam Wilson in the Stars and Stripes as our Star-Spangled Man with a Plan. We've obviously got Harrison Ford, who's taking over from the late, great William Hurt as now President Thaddeus Ross, Thunderbolt Ross. Looks like things happening behind the scenes where Isaiah Bradley, who is the Black Captain America, or that's how they describe him in Captain America and the Winter Soldier, basically is left aside and is tortured. He has like a really tragic sort of story. He sort of powers up in the middle of like a speech that President Ross is making and tries to assassinate him, and they're going to try to take him out, which is a hard thing to do because he's a super soldier. And then there's not as much, there's a little bits and pieces in the trailer, but nothing too heavy revealed. I'm really interested to see what the end of the plot kind of looks like, but we're talking about things in trailers that I would have liked to be saved until the movie. Whether he's an antagonist or not, we realise the fact that there is a nice, lovely red-shaded Hulk in this film.
I feel like they were pretty upfront about that.
If Ross is in the film, that's kind of what they're leaning towards. But
however, I have heard rumours that
it's not going to be him.
It's not going to be him, yeah.
Oh, I would hate that.
Look, I'm as we've discussed many times, and was probably made more evident today talking through MCU.
so
I'm not super into comics. I know a lot of the comic storylines, but probably because I do research as a result of watching these films.
Fair.
So I don't feel the same heartbreak that others do when things divert from the comics.
That's fair.
But with the MCU, they often divert from the comics.
Yeah, they do. Which is why people are like, oh, like what sort of the direction they're potentially going in. the fact that the leader's supposed to be coming back, played by Tim Blake Nelson in the Edward Norton Hulk, in Incredible Hulk.
Yep.
Whether he's setting things up to become the leader himself, I'm not really sure. But, I mean, the easy money is that, you know, the original character, who is that character? And that's, like, the cool part about basically one of the Hulk's greatest villains turning into a Hulk himself. It's an interesting part of the film. And I'm also just intrigued because of how much of a car crash production's been. So, and Marvel kind of needs some hits at the moment, to be honest.
I think Witz will go see this because it's got everything he loves. Harrison Ford and Marvel.
Oh, it's a smorgasbord.
Yeah, he's not even going to hear that joke because if this is a Marvel podcast, he will have steered clear. Next one for me is Flight Risk. It's Topher Grace, it's Michelle Dockery, and Mark Wahlberg. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. They are all going in like a small plane. Mark Wahlberg is the pilot, and Topher Grace is going into protective custody so that he can testify against the big mob boss. But halfway through the flight, it's revealed that Mark Wahlberg is actually an assassin who is there to take out Topher Grace.
Cool.
It is cool, but they've made a bizarre choice to, at the moment that it's realized, there's like a scuffle, and Mark Wahlberg's cap comes off, and he's bald. And he just has the...
like hair on the sides?
Yeah, the George Costanza kind of... And I laugh when I see it, because I'm like, what? What's happened here? It's very strange.
That was part of the contract. That's what he wanted.
Yeah, but look, it looks interesting. I like these kind of bottle films. I also
Confined location sort of.
Yeah, and it also seems like a game of cat and mouse type thing. Like they might get the upper hand over him again, but then he'll use like psychological games to get to them while they're finishing the flight. So it looks interesting.
Okay.
And I love Mark Wahlberg. Cool. One of my favorite things to do is watch the guy who can do a Mark Wahlberg impression do like a bunch of different movies.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh my God, it's Harry Potter. The boy will live.
Say howdy mother for me.
Anyway, so that's Flight Risk.
There's a series that I want to talk about, and it's Batman Caped Crusader. More animated Batman is always a good thing for me, because sometimes that's the best Batman. And also, I didn't know much about it. I started watching the trailer, and then I was like, oh, it's written by Bruce Timm, who did the original Batman in the animated series from the 90s, and it's produced by J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves. So the fact that this is like...
So they'll have a good start.
Don't jinx the second Matt Reeves Batman film. I know you're talking about J.J. Abrams, but yeah. I like the look of this quite a lot because the art style looks cool. It feels like it is a 40s or 50s like detective noir sort of style, and I was like, oh, this might be up your alley. The fact that it's got some good cast, didn't know the person who's voicing Batman, but he sounds really close to Kevin Conroy, and like that's cool. Christina Ricci is playing Catwoman. You've got Mackenzie Grace, who is younger Spengler in the new Ghostbusters film. McKenna Grace is the one, thank you. Haley Joel Osment.
Haley Joel Osment?
That's the one. I'm going really well with names today. But one name that I'm not going to forget. Oh, Krumholtz is along for the ride.
Davey boy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Bernard from the Santa Claus.
The one and the same. Old Krumholtz is rocking up at some stage. Don't know what character he's playing. We'll have to find out.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, just like the art style of this looks really good. Old villains, but you've also got some new ones, or at least sort of in different kind of portrayals. Like they look different. It feels like a new Batman. Yeah, just the tone of it feels very similar and dark and lovely to what like the original 90s animated series, which I've talked about on the podcast, how fond I am of that. So yeah, this comes out on Prime in a few weeks, I believe, or maybe even next week. And I'm seated. Can't wait to watch it.
Nice. Last one for me, a movie called Heretic. You actually sent me the trailer for this about 3 weeks back, but as I said, we haven't done trailers for a little while. Hugh Grant is in it. It's also got Sophie Thatcher. So you and I both saw Sophie Thatcher in Maxine recently. She is the one that makes the cast of her head. Do you remember afterwards?
Yeah,
I was like, what have I seen her in?
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, so she's also in Yellow Jackets as well. But essentially, there's these two girls who are going door to door. It's like they're Jehovah's Witnesses. They're preaching the word of God, and no one really wants to hear about it. But Hugh Grant is keen as mustard. And they're like, well, we're not really supposed to go in unless there's a woman present as well, like for our safety. And he's like, does my life count? Ha ha ha, I'm so charmingly befuddled. And so they come in, And he's like, yeah, she's baking a pie. I'm just going to go check on it. And when he goes to check on the pie, they see the big reveal. There's a candle, and it's blueberry pie scented. And so they realize it's been a big old trap.
In a ruse.
He basically locks them in. It looks like the house is kind of got some mechanisms to it, like the doors automatically lock. And there's like this big underground tunnel maze type thing that he has set up. So got a little bit of an element of Saw to it, but I suspect the fact that they are preaching the word of God, there's going to be some heavy religious tones to it. So yeah, he's not harming them in the trailer that we see, but he's making them go through this maze, which I assume will have all sorts of traps and things that can harm them. And it's like, pick this door or this door. And it's like, believer, non-believer. So it's going to, whether it's like heavy-handed religious messaging or whether it's like, nah, just like a cool horror film that's got some sort of religious tie-ins.
And Hugh Grant.
Yeah. I really like that Hugh Grant is playing against the charmingly befuddled role of late. This one in particular looks like something new that we haven't seen from him before, which should be interesting.
Because I'm not usually like the biggest Hugh Grant fan.
Oh, really? I am.
I know you are.
Huge Grant.
Huge Grant fan. I always really like when actors who are very known for a particular type of character play against type, as you said. And this is like, oh, Hugh Grant in a horror film. Wouldn't have picked that.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so like I was super intrigued watching it. I was like, and I very quickly sent it across. He was like, you gotta watch this. Definitely one I'm keen for as well.
Nice. Then let us move on to movie mashups.
They did the mash,
They did the movie
the
mash.
movie mash.
It's like a plot theme
They did
smash.
the mash,
It might turn out
they
trash.
did the mash.
They did the movie mash.
So essentially how this works is we will take it in turns to read out pitches for existing movies with slight twists based on the theme of the week. So the goal is to guess the new movie mashup title, which should be some sort of a play on words. Now, because we looked at Iron Man 2 Electric Boogaloo this week, our theme for today is MCU characters. Now, I thought of an absolute cracker, but unfortunately the character is merely a Marvel character and is yet to appear in the MCU. So I am going to use that as my example for today. If I was describing the Rafe Fiennes Jennifer Lopez romantic comedy about a cleaner who gets mistaken for a guest in an upscale hotel and must balance a dual life of daywalker and creature of the night, you might say the movie was called Blade in Manhattan.
Very good. You did tell that one the other day, and it was appreciated. It was
Yeah,
great.
I was just disappointed that I couldn't actually use it, but
Well, it may be in 10 years, you still might not be able to make
still use it. Yeah, they'll still be in negotiations.
legit.
I've got some good puns lined up for today. I know you are very excited about yours. You just kept going.
I just couldn't stop.
Well, you better kick things off then.
Okay, I'll start with one of my more interesting ones. Serving as a prequel to a famous TV show, the film takes us back to a small town where someone has found their target and murdered a popular high school student. The movie takes us back through an accurate last 7 days of the student's life as special agents try to unpack who's pulled back the string and killed this girl.
All right, so it's a movie prequel to a TV show.
Yeah.
Pulled back the string.
Yeah. What, like, Marvel character, like, pulls back the string on their weapon of choice?
But the Twin Peaks movie is like fire and something.
Fire something with me.
I can only say fire Hawkeye with me.
He's done it!
Woo!
Oh, we're off and racing, back on mashups.
All right, that didn't deserve the play of the music. Twin Peaks immediately was what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I just forgot that the movie
Like the subtitle.
had a yeah.
Twin Peaks, Fire Hawkeye with me.
Fire Hawkeye with me. Wow. Alrighty. In a post-apocalyptic world where tyrants rule over bullets, water, and petrol, our title character, now played by a younger, fresher face, teams up with a one-armed rebel who is trying to set the villain's wife free. Along the way, they are attacked by goons with eye patches and big leather trench coats and must assemble to shield themselves from the impending threats.
Buckle up. Are we on Mad Max Nick Fury Road?
He's done it! It is Mad Max Nick Fury Road. Oh yeah! I feel good about that. I feel good. You've done well.
Nice
You've
one.
done well.
I'll see if I can back up from my excellent first one.
I'm going to be paying very close attention now.
To connect 4 girls together across locations, they share an item of clothing with size-changing properties, acting as the apparatus to grow together and share their stories.
Is it the Sisterhood of the Traveling Ant-Man?
Yes, he's done it!
It's hard because I don't know where the word lies. For me, for most of my names, I've like condensed them into the syllable amount as well.
Yep,
So hopefully that'll help you later on.
hopefully.
A sports goods store owner accepts the job of a basketball coach at his old high school, where he was a star athlete. He teams up with the captain and gets the team on a winning streak, but shuts things down when their grades suffer. Determined to show them how to dance academically as well as on the court.
It's not Coach Coach Agent Carter?
I'll take it!
Coach Peggy Carter?
It is Coach Becky Carter!
There you go. Nice one. Nice. That's good.
That was the one, you know, you were saying you were finding it hard to do connections between the two.
Yeah.
I had Captain and I had Show Them How to Dance.
Show them how to dance. Good. A group of college students' heartbeats escalate as they play a classic party game that similarly starts to rise up, leading to consequences that were unseen. By not playing their role and the laws of the game, they head towards a blinding darkness if they cannot defeat their foes.
I don't know who the character is.
Well, the character...
It's not a blind character.
Yes, and there's mainly one blind superhero.
Oh, okay. I wasn't thinking because I didn't realize he'd made the jump.
He made the jump.
So it is Truth or Daredevil.
He's got it!
That's right. He made the jump in She-Hulk.
Yes, well, technically, I mean, Matthew Murdoch makes his first appearance in No Way Home.
That's true, yeah. Ah, there you go. Nice one.
Nice.
Very good. Sexual deviant Frank inadvertently opens a portal to a demon dimension when he unlocks a mysterious puzzle box he picked up overseas. It releases Norse-like creatures who rule the underworld and tear him apart. Shortly after, his half-brother and wife moves into the house and he coerces her into becoming a goddess of death to help restore him to his former glory.
Is it Hellraiser?
He's done it! It is Hellraiser. Very good.
Nice.
Oh,
That's a pretty good one. This crook accidentally lands himself a movie audition while trying to evade the closing rings of the authorities. But when landing in Hollywood, he has to punch, kick, and use any available martial arts or any skills he might have to fight his way through a murder mystery.
is it? Kiss, kiss, bang, shang, chi.
He's got it!
Kiss, kiss, bang, shang, chi. Oh my gosh.
That's one of the ones I was pretty happy with.
Woo!
Pretty happy with that.
Kiss, kiss, bang, shang, chi. That's fantastic.
And the 10 rings. and
the 10 rings.
Don't forget the rings.
I was like, I hope it's not part of the subtitle. Oh my gosh. No, it's character names. It's character names. Oh dear. Alrighty. Whew. When Champion City's main hero is taken captive by Casanova Frankenstein, a bunch of amateur superhero crime fighters must step up to stop the big bad. They upgrade their costumes and team up with an expert designer of special effects and illusions, equipping themselves with green suits, smoke, purple capes, and heads encased in glass bowls.
One of the more underrated films of all time, if you ask me. Is this Mysterio Men?
He's done it! It is Mysterio, man.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah, we'll rewatch Mystery Men. Been a while.
It's so good.
5 mates head out to a rural US town to visit their grandfather's grave before they stumble across what they think is a deserted house. However, this house is not deserted. It's home to a demented family with a penchant for particularly nasty behaviour that is shrouded. The friends need to try and leave, claw their way out with their limbs intact, as any sound they make won't be answered.
I've got the movie.
Okay.
Claws.
It's almost in the name.
Is it? Is an MCU character that has the name Claws?
Yeah, there is, actually. This character's a villain with a nice South African accent.
Oh, okay. Texas Chain Claw Massacre?
He's got it!
There is no way I would have gotten that without the South African accent hint.
The South African
Oh my gosh, yeah.
in those flashing lights.
That is an obscure clue. An obscure character.
I could have put Ulysses in there at some stage.
Look, you could have, and I'm glad you didn't. Texas Chain Claw Massacre. A paleontologist, paleobotanist, and chaosistician are all brought to an island to sign off on a genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist's wild idea to resurrect dinosaurs. When the park's security is compromised, they will need a suit of armor to protect themselves from the predators that get out.
Jurassic Star.
He's done it!
Oh.
He's Jurassic Star.
Very good. Very, very good.
I think we're doing pretty well today.
I think we got all right. Until now. Out in the open ocean, our main character suffers immense loss within his family, clouding his future as he protects his surviving son against the dangers of the world and just growing up. After losing his son, he fights to get him back, making new allies and eventually working alongside those who were once his enemies.
Is the son MCU or is the son the movie?
Movie. He's not a human character.
Oh, okay. All right. And
Really testing your ability of the MCU.
these are obscure characters, are they? No.
I don't think so.
It's a villain
Yeah.
that then becomes a hero.
Yeah, he works alongside the heroes in the Disney Plus series.
Oh, jeez. What's he a villain in? What movie?
Captain America Civil War.
How the hell am I supposed to know that guy's name?
Because he's got a pretty, memorable name. And it fits really well with the movie that you've identified.
Is his name Beemo? Chimo? Simo?
Just go through the entire...
Gemo? Zemo. Finding Zemo!
I'm
not playing it.
I'm not
playing it.
I
I
can't.
couldn't do it.
Finding Zemo.
Process of elimination.
Yeah, no, it's not great. Sorry.
Woo! In this British romantic comedy, a charmingly befuddled best man crosses paths with an American girl. After hitting it off, the two part ways as she returns to the States. As guardian angels must be looking down on them, though, as they continue to run into each other at 3 more nuptials and a burial, with fate really hammering home how much they should be together.
That's good. Thor weddings and a funeral.
He's done it!
Oh, that's good. That's a good one. I like that one. Someone's bringing the quality today. That's good.
No, you bring the quality.
In this sci-fi thriller and thunderbolt of a film, a soldier must investigate who is behind a terrorist bombing. To do so, though, he is placed inside another man's body 8 minutes prior to the explosion, hammering home the importance of these moments to investigate and save everyone.
Okay. Alright, I know both. Let me just piece it together. Edge? No.
Not that film.
Uh-oh. A soldier's body. Oh. Train one.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Oh, no.
No.
Come on, Mr. Brown. Bring it home.
Okay. Alright.
You know the movie.
It's got Jakey boy.
Yeah, it's got Jakey.
Jakey Jills. Okay. Is it Force Code?
He's got it!
Woo!
That only took like a minute. Like, not even mere seconds.
Mere seconds. No, full disclosure, we've been sitting here for about 10 minutes with me refusing to let Mr. Boylan move on until I was able to get that one.
If I could have a
'Cause
compilation of
knew
your
it. I just
facial
couldn't-
expressions.
I just
oh
couldn't
my
piece
God.
it together, but my goodness.
And that was the one I was really most happy with.
I
Fourth
know.
code.
Wow.
Fourth code. Fourth code.
Fourth code. That's the one you had a good chuckle about.
Yeah.
Thor Weddings in a Funeral was the chuckle for me.
Nice one.
For sure.
Shout out to the Thunder God.
Oh, man. Alrighty. Well, as always, guys, remember to like, subscribe. Tell us which ones of these you had to sit for 10 minutes before you were able to get it. Just press pause on the old podcast.
Or
and
skip
listen.
through to the end.
Oh, yeah. If you want some returning segments, segamontes, as they say in Spanish.
If you're coming up with some other segments as well, if there's some fresh ideas, saying, Mr. Brown, Mr. Boylan, I think this could be a cool thing to include on the podcast. What do you think? And then, yeah, come have a chat with us. Like, as much as, we like coming up with the ideas ourselves, we also like to work smarter, not harder, and have you guys do it for us.
Really cuts down my editing time.
Cue the Akadaka.
Thanks, everyone, and catch you in the next film club.